statement. So that is about the syllabus for module 3. Moving on to today's class contents. Today we discuss about introduction to lists, storing data collections using lists, creating duplicate lists, storing the elements in the list, how to create empty list, what is the use when we are going to create empty list, accessing the list elements, and lists are heterogeneous. And finally, I'll give one assignment. Okay. So that's about today's agenda. Moving further, storing collection of data using lists. So far, we have seen only arrays. So far, we have seen only arrays, and so far we have seen only variables, and these variables will store single element. Suppose if you want to store continuous set of elements, then definitely we need to take lists. So Python has a built-in data type, built-in class. Actually, we call it as a class. Is called list, and list is created by placing all the elements inside the square brackets, and each element is separated by commas. So that is what you should understand. And it can have any number of elements. There is no restriction of a number of elements, and they may be of different data types. They may be integers, they may be float, they may be string, etc. Anything. Even it can contain list of lists. So that is also it is possible. Working with the list is very similar to strings. And of course, how exactly your len function you are using in the string to find the length of the string. Here, your same length function you are using to find number of elements inside the list. And of course, we use the square brackets to access the elements, each element, by using the index numbers inside the square brackets. And index number always starts with 0. Let us create a list. Let us create a list. Let me run idle. Idle is very interactive. So initially, to understand the concept, we will start with idle, and all the programs we can either run in Spider or in Jupyter Notebook. Yeah. Now I create a list of colors. Colors is equal to, I just write in red, comma, blue, comma, green. Yes, we have done it. We have created a list, and we will check whether colors have really created. So, and we'll write the type. As soon as we check type of colors, it is displaying it as a list. It's a list. And we can certainly type the len of colors. Len of colors. Yes. And remember one very important thing. This entire array, sorry, it is not an array. Array is totally a different concept. List also has some memory. List also has some memory. Let me check the memory of list. So we can check the memory of list is so and so. It is available in so and so. And observe here ID of colors of 0. Observe now, in C and Java, the first element address itself, it is the address of the entire array in C and Java. But in the case of lists, it is not the same. Look at there, colors will have different ID, and the first element will have different ID. Same way, you can check the second element is having a different ID. Same way, the third element is also having the separate ID. Yes, look at that. None of the IDs are same. So they have different ID. Each element has a different ID. That is one thing that you should note. In C and Java, the first element address itself, it is the address of the array. But in Python, list is having a different address, and the elements that it contains has different elements. So definitely we can call list as a container. That's all. It has a container. Container in the sense, on a tray, we have various components kept. Just like that. It's a container. It's a container that contains 3 variables. The first variable is red, second variable is blue, third variable is green. It contains 3 variable data elements, and each data element has its own data, its own memory. So the collection of these 3 memory items, we call it as a list. We call it as a list. That's what you should understand. Now, if I want to print the first element, it's very simple. Print colors of 0. We can certainly give. It's a red. Similarly, color of 1. Colors of 1. Similarly, colors of 2. Yes, red, blue, green. Yes, it is done. It is done. And that's how exactly we can access each element, individual element, with index numbers. Index number always starts with 0 for the first element, and it goes incremented by 1 to the next elements. And each element of the list will have its own memory, its own memory allocation. So, very, very important point to be noted. And when we run len of colors, yeah, it will display 3. It will display 3. And each element is stored. And now, observe very carefully. Your list is also having separate memory. The first element is also having separate memory. Second is also having separate memory. Third element is also having separate memory. So all elements have their own memories, different memories. That's what you should understand. Now, creating duplicate lists. How to create duplicate lists? Very, very important. Very simple. When you want to create a duplicate list, just assign the list with another name, another variable name. Automatically, a duplicate list is created. So, assignment operator equal to is used on lists that, in fact, it is not going to create a copy. It does not make a copy. Look at here. It will just create a reference. That's all. It creates a reference. So, whenever you use this B is equal to colors, if you do like this, B is a reference. It's another variable that refers to same colors. That refers to same colors. That's all. So it doesn't make a copy of a list. So it creates a reference. That means B and colors are referring to the same memory location. Instead of assigning, make the two variables point to the same memory of the list. We can do it. We can create it. We can create it. So let us see the same thing here. What I do, I just I just create. Look at the bottom. I'm just typing. Look at here. B is equal to colors. Now, what happens? I'm just creating another list B. This is also referring to the same memory address of the colors list. Now, ID of B is same as that of ID of colors. Look at here. Look at here. Same. Both are same. ID of colors, ID of B are both are same. That means whatever the memory address it is, whatever the memory address that colors is pointing to, same memory B is also pointing. It is, and not only that, I can certainly print len of B is also same, because it is nothing but it is the same. You are creating an alias in the sense other name of colors. That's all. You are not creating a new memory. You are not creating new memory. Now, the chat box somebody is asking, sir, how to create a separate list with a separate memory and content has to be copied? Good question. So here I have colors. In colors, what happens? I have 3 colors. I want to create another C. Okay, I want to create another list C, and C should have same 3 elements. One is containing, it should contain red, another containing blue, another is containing green. It should contain green. So it should have, how to create this separate list? This is an interview question asked. Many of you don't know. Okay. Anybody who knows how to create a separate list, please type in the chat box. If you know how to create a separate list, please type in. If anybody knows, please type in how to create a separate list from already existing list. Now, look at here. I'll create. I think so far nobody has responded. I assume that nobody knows. I'll just write C is a new list. C is equal to colors of colon. If you write like this, automatically what happens? The contents of colors one by one are copied to C. So what do you mean by colors of double index, that is colon? If you don't give anything, the starting value is taken as 0, and ending value, it goes up to the default ending value, that is n minus 1, that is len minus 1, it will go. So that means all the elements one by one are copied to C. Now observe. Now observe okay, I just delete it. Okay, it is not required. It's not required. Yes. Now observe the ID of C. It's totally different. Look at that. ID of C is totally different. So ID of colors is 6008456, and ID of C is equal to 559990072. So that means it has created a new list. It has created a new list. It is not referring. When you copy like this, when you copy like this, automatically what happens? A new list is created and new memory is allocated. When you do it like this, when you do it like this, what happens? Reference to colors, reference to another list is created. Just only a reference is created. So this creates a reference, and this second, this will create a, no, it will create, this will create a reference, and this will create a list, separate list, new list. It will create a new list. So that is what you should understand. That's what you should understand. How to create a new list, or how to copy a new list, how to create a duplicate list. Duplicate list is nothing but reference, referencing a list. This is new list. Now I think you all know, I just clear the screen. Okay. Now we all know is operator. List B is list colors. It is true because their elements are also same. Their memory location is also same. Perfect. Is operator will check value as well as the memory. Both are same. So they are identical. Now look at C is colors. In this case, definitely we get false. You know why? Their memories are different. C memory is different and colors memory is different. But contents are same. So when you want to say two objects are similar, identical, then their address also should be same. Their values also should be same. In such cases only you write they are identical. Of course, you can certainly say C equal to colors. Yes, this is true. Equal to operator, what it will do? It will check only for the equality with respect to the values. But is operator checks for not only values but also the address. Very, very important. Very important. You should understand this. Concept. This is what interview they are going to target. They are going to ask. Okay. Maybe in the next class I'll come out with the difference between array and list. Very, very important. Arrays, if you want to create, you have to import a NumPy. There is a package, there is a module called NumPy. Numbers in Python, we call it as NumPy, and we have to call it. So that we have to use it, right? So that is a thing that you should observe, right? Okay. Now, moving further. Okay, I'll explain this last sentence later. Okay, anyhow, it comes. Okay. Plus operator will concatenate two lists, just like there in string also. Plus operator will concatenate two strings. Same way, list also it concatenates. It joins two strings, concatenates. Okay, let us move further. I told Each element in the list is having separate memory, its own memory. So suppose if you look at the Wales, 5 4 7 3 2 3 2 6 4 2 1 7 1 3, some data Wales. That means 5 has got its own memory address, 4 has got its own memory address, 7 has got its own memory, 3 has got its own memory, 2 has got its own memory. So each element has got its own memory. Each element has got its own memory. And the collection of all those memories are made as a list, and it is given to another reference that is called Wales. And for Wales also, it is memory is allocated. That is ID 15. Memory is allocated. So this is what you should understand. This is what you should always observe. This is what you should always observe. Wales. And the same thing, I just take you to the example. Just take it. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. That's what I discussed here. Look at here. Colors red, blue, green. So red has got different memory address. Blue has got different memory address. Green has different. So each element has got different memory address. And for the list also, it is a different memory address. See, none of the memory addresses are same. None of the memory addresses are same. Look at that. Look at that. None of the memory addresses are same. I think you know very well, right? So you understood. With this diagram, memory representation, each element in the list gets separate memory allocation. Along with it, the collection of all these addresses are contained in a memory. That memory we call it as list. That is referenced as list. This referenced as list. So this is what we call it as the list. This is what we call it as a list. Next, how to create an empty list? Very simple. Look at here. In order to create an empty list, you have to just write empty, open and close brackets. That is square brackets. You can certainly write. Or Wales is equal to list and empty. So when a list is called empty list, a list is called empty list if it has no elements or its length is 0. So let us look at the same thing. Let us look at the same thing. I'll take you to, okay, Jupyter notebook. Yes, the Jupyter, let us work on Jupyter notebook. Yeah, I create Wales is equal to open square brackets. So it has created. Now, length of Wales. Length of Wales. When I run it, it gives 0. So that means Wales is a empty set. Same way, I can create another W is equal to list. That's all. And I can certainly print the length. Sorry, certainly I can print W. Len of W. Sorry, len of W. Right. If I run, yes, a list W is created and it is also 0. That's empty list. You're creating an empty list. And both are different Lists, both are different. Whales is a different list. W is a different list. And you can check ID of W, and you can check the ID of whale, whales. ID of W and ID of whales. Check it out. I'm sorry, I had to write a different print statement. If I don't write in print, what happens? It will concatenate the output. Okay, it will concatenate. So I had to write print. Right. Now observe. Yeah. Even though they are empty lists, they are created separately. They are created separately. So it is. So it is uh, two different lists. So they are two different lists. And they have different memory locations. Different memory locations. So this is how you should create a. And the list itself, it is an object, but it is also contains the memory address of other objects. That's what we have seen in the previous. So in the previous, it has got 14 elements, and each 14 elements have got different memory address, and those memory addresses are collected and stored under another list. That is the 15th one is the address of the list of whales. So it is just like that. So memory model is very, very important. In the examination, the interviews, they ask, explain the memory model of a list along with some 10 elements, with 5 elements. So you should write very clearly for each 5 elements separate memory, and also for list separate memory. Remember, very, very important. Lists and arrays are totally different. First point. Second point. List address is different. The list elements address is different. Second point. If you want, you note down. Very, very important. Next. Accessing the list elements. I have already said, if you want to access the list elements, you have to use index numbers. And here is one very important terminology that is coming in. What is that? Lists are mutable. Oh, somewhere we learned, no sir, mutable, immutable. Yes. Strings are immutable. That means once you store data into a string, it cannot be altered using the index numbers. We have already seen. I given Bangalore example, and I have changed to Bengaluru. It gave error because strings are immutable. Lists are mutable. That means you can change the contents. You can change the contents. Sir, what do you mean by this? Can you give example? Yes, I'll take you. So now, if I look into colors, okay, if I say colors, so colors has red, blue, green. I change green to pink. Colors of 2 is equal to pink. You just write pink. Yes. Now, colors. Look at here. It can be changed. It can be changed. That's why they are called mutable. Mutable data elements are those elements which you can alter even after their creation. Immutable data elements cannot be altered. The data cannot be altered after their creation. So string is immutable. List is mutable. Remember this difference very well. Remember this difference very well. You should know this difference very well, and you should act on it. So we will stop at this point, okay? And in the next class, we'll discuss some more concepts related to this. Everybody, please type in your USN. CR, please note down the attendance. Yeah. Thank you so much for attending my class. We'll meet tomorrow with some more discussions. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you. All class recordings are available in this particular website. Today I don't have the assignment for you, but still I give time to those students who have not submitted the assignments of the previous one. That is, you have to create a doc string and test the code or the function using doc test. Yesterday also I have shown, day before yesterday also I have shown. Please go through those videos if you are getting errors, if you are not successful. But still, if you have any doubt, feel free to WhatsApp me, call me. I'll be there to assist you. Okay, that's all for today's class. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.